1,000 out there. Taylor accepting a hand pass from Davidson and goaling. Well, Melbourne must have been disappointing. They kicked 7 goals in the second quarter and they kicked 10 for the match. 2 in the first and just 1 in the second half. Ricky Jackson's been back in form. He kicked 4 yesterday. But Brisbane was able to maintain some pressure. They looked out of it at half-time, but they were able to scramble back. Mackay, a good goal here. High one, a snap going through. And this is a very clever goal from Tony Campbell coming up for Melbourne. But all in all, you wouldn't think John Northey would be too impressed with the performance, scrambling home at Waverley.
They got the 4 points, I suppose, but they were fairly unimpressive in doing so. And in fact, if it hadn't been for the Bears' insatiable desire to handball, they could have well have pinched the 4 points yesterday and caused a major upset. But because I thought many of their 198 handballs they amassed were sort of ineffective and really unnecessary, and they put the last recipient on a chain of about half a dozen handballs under immense pressure, and in doing so cut down the efficiency as they moved the ball into their forward line, where Roger Merritt in the second half was a good player for them and looked capable of kicking a couple of goals, but they really didn't give him the chance to do so. But back to Melbourne, I suppose their 7-goal second term was the match winner for them. But unfortunately, once again, inconsistency in many of their players was again there. In Jackson, a lot of their stars in that second quarter in particular were unsighted in the second half, and as I said, they were very lucky to hold on and win.
Cal, with these injuries to Viney and Phoebe, do you think the Demons are going to be a force in the finals, or almost an embarrassment?
Well, no, I mean, while I've bagged them to a degree, I suppose, at least they did get the 4 points, and that in itself is a sign of a fair side. When they haven't played well for the 4 quarters, we can still come up with the 4 points. But I suppose
against
they need...
the Bears.
Let's not forget the Bears in the last 3 weeks have been fairly competitive. They had a good win against Fitzroy, and they took it right up to North Melbourne and Hawthorn in the last 2 weeks, so I wouldn't degrade the Bears too much. But unfortunately, I haven't been able to fit a Melbourne player in the votes. Healy and Stretch, I suppose, were close, but I gave 1 to Gastev, who continues to show great form across the half-back line. Port Adelaide would be pretty happy with Martin Leslie. He showed great form at full-back and centre-half-back, and David Bain just ran about 14 miles yesterday and picked up many possessions, 3 votes.
Kelvin, thanks very much for that.